Okay, man.
Perfect. There we go. How are you doing, Sam?
Good. You?
I am doing well. I guess here we're still dealing with this snow, about to get a little snowstorm in going. Another one,
Again?
which, that's not great for the dog business, but that's how it goes.
Oh, man.
More
How?
important that people stay safe. And I know y'all are probably used to more snow in Canada, right?
Yeah. We got quite a bit. I'd say we're at like, I don't know, 5 feet at this point, depending where you
Are
are.
you serious?
Like I'm talking where it like piles up, right? I'm
Oh
not
my gosh.
right. Not like we're walking through 5 feet of snow everywhere, but like where it piles up.
Sure. What province are you in again?
I'm in Ontario, Toronto, Ontario.
Okay. I know we have
Yeah.
states here, so I don't, I'm bad at geography as is.
Yeah.
So
No problem.
I just know it's colder. Well, welcome, Sam. Sam is here with Royal Dog Chains, as viewers can see in the background. Awesome logo, big old dog there. And
Appreciate it.
yeah, we just connected. I'd been seeing her ads a lot on Instagram, and I thought it was a fantastic concept. So I think maybe to get started, do you want to talk a little bit about? I thought this was interesting on our preliminary call, your entrepreneurial roots before this whole idea came about.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I don't know. It since I was a young kid, I would try to sell whatever I could. Cards. Cologne bottles. We used to get sample cologne bottles. I
Yeah,
used to sell that. Anyways, point is, after a long time, we were always looking at what kind of line of business we do it for a period of time.
sure.
My wife was on mat leave, and times get a little tough sometimes, and finding out different avenues, we ventured off, just coming up with ideas and blowing up jumping castles.
Yeah, that's right. You were
Which,
starting with like kind of a party related business first, which is good. I've seen people do that a lot.
yeah, yeah, it's especially during COVID. Like during COVID, we it was a big thing of parties at home, and everything was kind of at home, but to a degree, a lot of outdoor parties. So looked at that, and I would go and blow up jumping castles
Yep.
and bring them to a customer for like a weekend or whatever it is, and put an ad on marketplace, and that's how it kind of started. Not really understanding where everything was going. Like
Sure.
insurance might have been a thing, right? Like a
Right.
few things like that. So it was something to just get by at the time, and
Oh, sure.
um,
Sure. And
yeah,
I remember at Carolina we would have like some of those like out in the summer like big, water slides and people would come and I mean it's a business. It's there and too I feel like versus what you're doing now, I feel like there's a lot of stress involved in going to get that upright and dealing with the clients versus, where you're kind of at now.
yeah, no, for sure, definitely, and again, I still work full time too, so that was just doing things on the side. But yeah, entrepreneurship was always front of mind.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, Royal Dog Chains really started with your first dog, Rajah. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
tell me a little about what was her breed and where did this idea for chains around the dog's neck come from originally?
Yeah, no, for sure. So we had a Rottweiler named Roger. We've always had Rottweilers as a family growing up until recently. And one special dog that we had was Roger. They're
Hmm.
all special in their own way, but
Sure.
this one dog, I remember when I got him around a year. I said I wanted to upgrade his collar, and I had a few things from your local pet store, and so we I got him a Swarovski, what they told me was Swarovski crystals, but it was a big, thick leather. I'd say about, I don't know, like 3 inches,
Yeah.
and it was all crystals all the way around. It shined pretty bright. It looked really good on. It was all black leather on a black and tan dog, and
Yeah.
it was sharp. But he got so used to that collar that everywhere we would go, if I didn't put that collar on him, to the point where he just wore it in the house, he
Yeah.
would just continue
He
following
just
me
loved
around.
to wear it.
Just love to wear it. And then I'd give him a bath. He would try to, if I put the collar on the floor, he would try to flip the collar on him. If I held the collar in my hand, he'd chase me around the house to put the collar on.
Yeah.
So it was, he definitely loved his collar. And when he did pass, we had the collar there, and he was he was always we still have it. It's hung up on the wall,
That's
um,
awesome.
and that's how kind of it sparked the idea. I mean, a few months and maybe even a year after
Sure.
on how to commemorate him, and his name was Rajah, which is in the line of royal, and that's how Royal Dog Chains was kind of birthed.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's being I'm 24 now, and I think, I'm now beginning to, I mean, maybe a little bit before, but I'm now beginning to understand, what it feels like to lose a dog, or when someone says their dog, recently passed, especially being in the pet business. I'm able to sympathize a lot more. We had our first dog, Callie, and I was 8 when she'd passed away. And I didn't think too much about it. She's a good dog. And then now that, we have Ivy and she's older, and now that we have Cedric, um, it's just very cool that, now that I have this dog that kind of have a business around it, in the same sense that Raja, it's really hard that he passed, but you guys were able to find a way to commemorate and celebrate his legacy.
Yeah, no, for sure. It definitely is. That's the part that sucks about having animals and dogs. They don't last as long as we do.
No, no, not at all. But so going from that, where did you find this? You knew that he had had this chain, or not really a chain, more of a collar with crystals. So how did you come up with the idea to use chains and kind of switch that up a little bit?
Yeah, so we looked at we wanted to create a luxury line, and that collar being more of a luxury setting. We always thought about, when someone passes in our family, or you hear other people, they would pass down something like a chain or a bracelet or some kind of
Yes, you
jewelry.
mentioned that. Like chains and jewelry are very kind of important to your family.
Yeah, exactly. And so we we ended up looking at a jewelry line, but how we wanted it to be functional as well. So how do we put that into the animal world? And that's kind of the trajectory we went with on creating a luxury line, and similar to like something that has meaning. When you have a collar or a chain that you always, you can put up. In this case, you might not wear your dog's collar, but
Right.
you know, something
Some
that's,
people do. I don't judge
yeah,
them. I
yeah,
mean,
exactly. Agree, 100%.
to
I
each
agree.
their own, right?
Yeah, yeah. With some of these chain, I mean, you could really wear some of these things for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
right.
kind of, you know.
Yeah, that is tough. That really is. So, how long ago did you guys start?
So we started in 2023,
Okay.
um, and we were just kind of feeling out the market, and we had prototypes, and we were like, what's kind of the line we're going to go? But 2023 was then. Now, prior to that, we were more heavily on Instagram, and we were
Hmm.
just a company
Sure.
on Instagram. So it wasn't really, wouldn't say we were a like an online business at that point, other than
Sure.
Instagram. Yeah.
Right. Like you started on Instagram, and when that was a couple years before, almost kind of during COVID, right?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I
Or
think
right. Yeah. Yeah. Just like to the tail end of things.
definitely. I mean, I feel like you see a lot of businesses shifting towards the online, and I think what's interesting is, you think 10, 15 years ago, most people will have their products in a store and everything like that. And then, I mean, maybe even earlier, but then, Amazon, then you have online shopping, and you have that shift. And now you're seeing companies like yourself where they're starting online, but y'all also are now kind of expanding into a lot of different stores in Canada as well, which is very cool.
Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah. We're in about 12 stores and counting at the moment. Locally, we're always looking to expand in more stores, and I think that's kind of our next step and phase. We're gearing up for something like that. But
Definitely.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So why don't you take me through, I gather a lot that Royal Dog Chains, you really want to have a culture and a brand around it. You started on Instagram, you want to build and you want it to have meaning, right? You don't want it to just be another collar that you wear. And it kind of feels, or it kind of fills the gap where, you want to have something that make sense for the dog to wear, for them to be comfortable, but also for them to stand out. So, how do you sort of create that culture and what have you done, to start build that up?
Yeah, no, great question. So even on Instagram, it was very grassroots on how we started. Going to dog events, going to dog shows. There's a heavy bully community that we're part of as well, and
Yeah. And this is
so
this is all in Canada too that you're going to all those. I'm
yeah,
assuming. Yeah, it's interesting hearing that, like being in a different location, how they're like, I mean, I guess some places aren't as dog heavy, but I feel like Canada, the US, they're gonna have a bunch of those dog shows and everything. So yeah, you're saying you're going to a lot of dog shows around to begin with.
yeah, and our brand really is a statement piece brand, right? So we to kind of create a culture around that is once you put a chain on your dog, he looks like a different dog. And even with my dog, when I took his collar off, he didn't look like the same dog, right? So
Yeah,
it really is.
he lost the drip a little bit.
He did, yeah, and different colors bring out different
Yeah.
undertones of your dog's coat color. So so we once we looked at that and how it worked and creating a community. I mean, we offer free resizing for life. So
Oh wow.
once you're part of the Royal Dog Chains family, like we definitely take care of you. So that's how we stay connected. If somebody says, "Hey, I have a puppy and my puppy's growing," and later on they're like, "Should I buy a chain now or should I wait?" I'm like, "Hey, your chain can grow with your dog."
Exactly.
So
Exactly. So from starting and going to those shows, was there any certain instance where you were kind of like, yeah, I think we have a shot to start to put some of our stuff into pet stores? Was it something where you had it on Instagram, but what was that leap to be able to start to distribute your products?
yeah, so we when we started, um, I remember this one show that we had. It was a Christmas show. It was in the heart of Toronto. We went to the show and we did not do well at all. We were there. The booth was it was our first show. How to position the product. Like we knew how to position the product, but like to go in terms like being in a show, we didn't really know what we were like our message and what we were doing and how to like speak to people in a show setting. These are all new learning things that we had to go
Sure.
through, and we didn't do well. We lost money that day, and we're like, what? Did we get in the right thing? Like, are we in the right business? And it wasn't until another event that populated, and it was a bully event by a gentleman by the name of Bully Factory. Shout out to Bully Factory.
Yeah.
It was
Shout
his
out
first,
Bully Factory.
yeah, it was his first show, and we went there and we were well received, which was we're very happy to see that. So uh, we kind of continued from there and perfecting everything that we were doing. And we said, okay, there is a market for it, and how do we show everybody and tell how great these chains are? And once they put them on their dog, and we see that reaction all the time. Once they put the chain on their dog, like, oh my gosh, right? And we love that reaction. I wish I could just take clips of that like all the time and that's really what does it. So from there, we took it and we brought it into stores, and we started pitching stores, cold calling stores, and getting our brand awareness there, and then ultimately our chains.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, I think when you're starting a business, from the get-go, it is interesting and I think you had a little bit more, probably a lot more business experience than I did when I first started, but I remember it was so funny. My dad, he calls himself the self-proclaimed VP of marketing. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you think? He's like,
Yeah,
I'm the VP. And he's like, you gotta make posters. Like, you gotta make. So, like, we finally cooked some up. We put them around, different coffee shops, different breweries, not a single thing. And I spent that time, it wasn't, it really, it didn't really bring me down much because, I don't know, it was more funny than like we put it out there. But I think similar to you, you go to that first show and if you cut it there, you'd never know. But I think even something like collars or your chains that you're talking about, I think a lot of the dog industry is word of mouth. I think I've seen that personally. It's, we provided quality care and they recommended me to a friend. And I think, ads can be successful, but I feel like continuing to show up and finding those loyal customers. And
yeah.
you have gone about it the right way, where you're like, yeah, you get free resizes for life. You're part of a community. Have you seen that word of mouth is something big for you, or has it been something else?
Yeah, for sure. Like when we were starting, we were thinking, hey, we just got to get these on dogs and let dogs walk around. That's going to be our billboard. And now that we're a good amount of chains sold, we're seeing more of that. That somebody who bought a chain, they want a different color, and that's one of the biggest compliments is our repeat customers because they buy something, they're like, hey, the quality's so great, we want to get another one. We get emails all the time. Our reviews are up. So, it really is a great compliment to see that repeat business come out. But to your point, word of mouth is that once they start seeing something, like, oh, where'd you get that chain from? And then somebody says Royal Dog Chains. They're great customer service, and that's what we strive for. Customer service is a big part of our business plan. So not only do we have the product, we want to have the support with it.
Right. And I think a lot of businesses getting started, the early on customer service may be make or break, right? If you're going to get into something and, something comes up where, let's say, a person didn't show up or an order didn't go through or something happened, it's almost, how do you respond to this? Can you do it positively? Can you keep moving forward? And, again, I think your sales speak for themselves that you've been able to continue to grow slowly but surely, and expand. So, yeah, that's fantastic, man. That really is.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let me ask you, in terms of, just to switch up a little bit, in terms of social media and growth that way, did you have much experience beforehand, or was this something that was new to you when you first were growing Royal Dog Chains?
I I'd even have Instagram. So
Yep.
to learn,
You were off
um,
grid.
yeah, I was off. I mean, I had a Facebook account, and I
Hmm.
remember I started an Instagram account just to kind of uh, it was a dog account. It was for Rajah and Ruby, my other dog at the time,
Hmm.
and so I had an Instagram account that we kind of flipped from there to my personal account, and I really didn't even know. I'm like, how do I post, right? So it was a learning curve for me to get into like social media because I wasn't a huge social media person to begin with. And to really learn that side of business was a totally different thing, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that journey. I enjoyed like watching the growth, and we literally starting off with like zero followers with Royal
Yep.
Dog Chains.
And now y'all have like over 10,000, is that right?
Yeah, we're at 11.5 at the moment.
You're doing something
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
right?
But
Yeah.
yeah, content's great. Like I love creating now. It's like I've always enjoyed creating and marketing. So to actually be able to implement that in a creative way in my own business, that's kind of it's nice.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. When you were first kind of starting to promote the business, did you have certain content things that you were consistent with? And I say this is, we talked about it. I started Wagworks as Dog of the Day, or we'll do these, different posts that are consistent. What did that look like for you, and how did it kind of evolve up until now?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it was just setting targets of following accounts,
Hmm.
and I started just doing that. And I had a daily target of commenting on accounts, and then
Sure.
we're trying to hit that. And then content was the next kind of thing, and how do we create content? So that was a bit of a challenge in the beginning, but after a few dogs would purchase our chains, we'd give discounts if they posted. So they posted their dog and their chain, and then there would be discounts associated with it, and that's how we kind of tried to have that social media catch fire in a sense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And but that dog of the day thing, I might borrow that off you. That's
You
pretty good.
should, man. I
Yeah,
mean, it's I've so many different people do that
yeah,
sort of thing, but I mean, I think it's the consistency, and you find that there are so many different little tricks that you can do on social media. And I don't know, we talked a little bit about the algorithm in our preliminary call, how trying to do carousels, or and I'm like,
yeah,
isn't that just when you see multiple pictures, or you have your post and your reels? And I think again, I what do I know, right? I'm no meta expert, but again, when you find your own niche, and you have that consistent content that you're posting, the people who support you and your brand will continue to follow along with that.
yeah, for sure. Most of it, we get comments on our ads now, right? We weren't doing meta ads before, but
Yeah.
as we grew, we get comments that say great chains, great customer service. We read every comment and we respond to every comment because we enjoy that following, and again, it's a community for us.
Well, of course, and it's very cool to see like people that you didn't know before being supportive of what you're doing, right? Like think back to 2023, about 3 years ago when you really were starting to launch, and now you have people you have no idea who they were before commenting, like, I really like what you guys are doing. I think having that push just makes you want to keep going.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So I, want to ask, I know that with the chains, you think bullies, you think Rottweilers, you think Great Danes, you think big dogs. But I know with your products, you also have some small dog chains as well. So, do you want to talk a little bit about how you were like, all right, I think there is a market for smaller dogs as well because they're heavy sometimes too, or they can be.
Yeah, most definitely. So even that first event that we went to that we thought we bombed, and we did. We had a lot of bigger dog chains. And what about my Chihuahua? I have a Maltipoo, I have a poodle and a miniature poodle, and these are way too heavy. So we got a lot of that feedback. And since then, a number of years ago, we've started with smaller dog accessories. Something like this
Yeah.
is
Look at
just a light,
that.
yeah, it's
Ooh.
just a lightweight chain,
Yeah.
silver and blue. It's not it's something like that. And now it's like cat lovers love our dog chains,
I
and
was just going through Instagram before this and I
yeah.
saw a post where you're like, we're doing them for cats as well now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There's a UK gentleman who rides his cat and on his shoulder, and he goes, "I want a chain for this cat," and he has a pretty decent following,
Yeah.
and it's our new feline collection that we came out with.
That's amazing. Well, how about this? Take me through, what are the products that you guys actually offer through Royal Dog Chains? And I know quality is very important, so if you want to speak to
Yeah,
that a little bit as well.
yeah, most definitely. So we have two lines. We have chains for bigger, stronger dogs. These are made with stainless steel.
Yeah.
What you're looking at right here is our first ever Miami Link stainless steel chain on the market, and it's studded, so it has a lot of stonework in it.
Nice.
But these are made with again marine grade stainless steel, so they're not going to come off on you. They're built to last. They're not going to
Sure.
rust on you because it is stainless steel. And we have all different types of styles and colors. Like this is a new two-tone one that we came out with black and gold.
Nice.
And it different bully heads. Like you just saw that classic buckle there. We got something a little different here where
Oh,
you,
nice. Yeah.
you got some bully buckles. And then this was one of my favorite things to do is we're like, okay, how do we expand on our buckles? And then we created a snake line, right? So
That
it's
is awesome.
right. So we got all snake skin, emerald
Yeah.
green eyes, and when you walk your dog, you literally have a ring here, and that's what you're seeing when you walk your dog. Like it's like those bracelets that kind of curve together, and
Yeah.
that was kind of our inspiration. And like I showed you before, just a smaller dog line
Hmm.
here, and again another smaller chain style here. These are lighter weight. These are not made with stainless steel, but the intention is so we can actually go lighter on smaller
Of
dogs.
course. I mean, with the smaller dogs, ranging, I mean, there are dogs who weigh like my nephew Harley, he's a dachshund, and I'm holding him. He's a little guy. I mean, he might have put on a little weight, but he's losing it a little bit now. So, but he I don't know, 15, 20 pounds maybe. And
Yeah,
dogs like that can't really handle all that weight on their necks. So you kind of have to adapt.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And we wanted to be comfortable for the dog and the owner. Like it's meant to do that exactly.
Definitely. So how do you, with the products that you offer, how do you kind of evaluate, okay, this is working well, we don't want to keep offering this, or, is it put out a lot of products and kind of see what takes?
Yeah, so I mean, we look at designs that are out there. We come up with molds. We draw it out. We have a team that assists with that as well. And from there, we look at, is this a one-time offering? And that's how we kind of do it. We bring in a sample size. We see how the market takes to it, and then we build off that. So then, if it does well, then we'll bring it into our actual lineup. Like one of the chains that we did that with just recently
Hmm.
is that we kind of went around the road show,
Yeah.
and we showed the black and gold off, and it did really well, and now it's in our lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. We had talked about how I guess ultimately, at least I've my friend Anna Jordan, who I told you, she does jewelry with her Anna Banana and all that, and how, a lot of times with jewelry, wholesale is kind of what the end goal may be rather than kind of shows or online. And so how, going from online to doing in stores to doing wholesale, like how do you see yourself kind of getting there in the next couple of years?
Yeah, great question. So with wholesale, that's uh, our next kind of step.
Yeah, the
We're
next
not
phase.
Yeah, our next phase. We're not fully in a wholesale phase right now,
Sure.
and so we're working on that and going to market with that. We're working on new packaging. Um, we're seeing how to map that out. We're in the process of doing that. Online, we work with a lot of uh, influencers. We work with a lot of people that just love our chains, and they're part of the Royal Dog Chains family, and it really is word of mouth through that as well. Alongside, we enjoy the marketing part of things, where our goal is to just create, like, we sell a product, yes, but we also want to create a community, and that's
Hmm.
our main goal. So the love of the community and chains like that, everything will just kind of come naturally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm under the impression that if you, work hard, take your time, and execute well, things will work out. I think
Yeah.
it's a lot about those repetitions and staying consistent with what you're doing, and you've definitely been doing that, and that even goes to where you guys are now looking at different colors for different dogs. You want to speak a little bit on that?
Yeah, for sure. We've tried out different options, and a lot of the muscular breeds. We get a lot of comments for, like, do you have something like that's a little bit more feminine in a sense? And our dog gets called good boy all the time. Or what a powerful boy, or
Right,
what a handsome boy. And
right.
we started coming out with something a little more, I guess, feminine, and a few things that we've launched or are launching. This is not out yet, but we have
That's
a
great.
purple chain here. Purple and gold is
Sure.
the accent,
Yeah.
and something like this is going to glow in the dark. So lights out, this actually glows, but it looks great in the daytime as well. So we've come out with that, a black and fuchsia chain. It's all black with fuchsia
Hmm.
stones on them. We love doing a lot of stone work. We do that. We offer solid colors as well, but we do have a lot of stone work. So we have a few things like that coming out. For the small dog lines, we have a number of different colors, pink and silvers, that are coming out. Blue and silver, that's always been a staple for us. A royal blue. This is a really deep blue, chrome
Yeah.
blue that we
That's
came out with
nice.
not too long ago. And one that I showed you kind of recently, again, this is our Miami link chain. It's a very different link pattern from your standard Cuban link chain. It has more
Sure.
edges and curves on it.
Yeah.
Just a few things that's already on the market, and that's coming out.
Yeah. And, with this being something like chains and pieces of jewelry being something that's important to your family, how do you take that knowledge and kind of apply it there? Because I've had, funny story. I had a chain I was wearing in, I don't know, high school, and I was playing soccer. It wasn't a super nice chain. Got ripped off my neck, and then the lawnmower went over, mowed the field. I was like, that thing's gone. So I got
Oh
another
man.
one. But, how do you kind of take your knowledge and then apply that directly to the dog market and the things, because I'm not very well versed on chains, but like Cuban Link or Miami, that kind of thing. Do you think that the same things sell in the human world as they do in the dog world?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, a lot of the chains that we offer, they have been classics, and that's what we start off with, the classic core hero products. The Cuban link chain, the gold Cuban link chain, which is one of
Yeah.
our best sellers.
I like that hero products. I remember you said
Yeah,
that earlier. I like that.
yeah, and so the gold Cuban link chain is one of the hottest sellers, followed by gold with stones. But gold has kind of been that base chain, and then we looked at it. We're like, okay, on the market there is a lot of Cuban link chains. You can get certain ones, like even on Amazon, right? The qualities are a little different, but like there's certain things that you can get from other areas. And we came up with a different link style, and that's that Miami link that I just showed you, where it has more edges, it has more. It's more of an edgier chain, but it does really well. And Cuban link chains are a very popular chain as well. So we look at certain things, and we are like, okay, what does well in the human industry? Snakes were a big thing, right? Bracelets, rings. There's a bunch of snake ideas, and that's where we get our inspiration from.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So to switch it up just a little bit, we've been able to talk a lot about Royal Dog Chains and kind of what you guys have accomplished and what's to come. And I wanted to hear a little bit more about Sam. Because I know you work a full-time job. How do you balance this? How do you keep this level of excitement up? What kind of brings you to continue to do this and maybe reach that goal of being able to do this full time?
Yeah, no, great question again. It's a lot, I'll tell you that, but I enjoy it. And you know, I am employed full time, and after work's done, I have a family, and I spend time with them. And as soon as they're off to bed, it's me late night, just in a room and working on designs or marketing or content or uh, orders. So there's a lot that goes into it. It is a family business as well. Like my wife helps out quite a bit too with
Right?
customer service and things like that. So it is like that. But in terms of finishing what you're doing and staying motivated, is just it's the passion for the business, passion for dogs, and I love dogs since I was a kid. I've always loved dogs. I got stories on that, but dogs have always been a big part of my world. And as you go through different parts of your life, my dogs have lasted between 10 and 11 years, and all those, that decade plus 1 year times, multiple dogs, they've all seen me in different phases of my life. So I love dogs, and that's the passion that kind of keeps me going. And plus the business aspect of it.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like I don't know, running a business, and I mean, again, you have your wife to help you, but a lot of this is kind of on your back, and I think there's the conversation of motivation versus discipline, right? We had talked about the other day when we were talking, like, I have a really cool idea for this new kind of reel that we could do, or ideas pop up all the time, and I think that's something that I struggle with. Wagworks is, when I get in a place where I'm, fat and happy and I'm like, I have a good amount of clients myself, or, I'm good with just doing the podcast and not the short form reels. Um, it's hard to balance that, and I'm sure it's even harder when you have a full-time job on top of that, right? But I think for me, it's, at least in this new year, how do I stay disciplined, right? And make sure it's not something that I'm going to burn out. So in that motivation versus discipline kind of concept and conversation, how do you where do you feel like you're at on that?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, discipline and consistency is key, right? Even the days that you're tired, you had an exhausting day from your full-time job or just the day in general, to stay motivated to come back. Consistency and discipline is a huge component, and I think it's not easy to do. It's definitely not, because the world can beat you up quite a bit. Like I said, your full-time job, life in general, and then to come at a certain time. And my time frame is when everybody's sleeping, and I'll work there.
Yeah.
So sleep does suffer sometimes too, right? So it really is trying to find that balance
Hmm.
with that consistency and with that discipline. And I think merging those three things is a hard balance, but I think it's a necessary balance at certain points. So me time sometimes, right? You got to give yourself some love and recharge, but that has a place and time for it, and then you're back to the discipline part of things, and being consistent with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you've been regimented, I mean, I've followed your page for a while now, and you keep up and you keep showing up and you keep doing that. And it's interesting. I mean, some things, if you're coming up with an idea and you're not, seeing it through, it might, it might not work, or it might not go the way you want. But I think, again, the fact that you keep showing up again and again, you've seen it go from, oh man, we had this show and we lost money, to, yeah, we're now in 12 stores and we're continuing to grow. And that's exciting.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even you, like your consistency on your drive, like I'm inspired as well. I mean, You've
I
done some great
appreciate
stuff with
that.
your page and reaching out, and this is how we connected, and you
Yeah.
made this happen. So
Right. I appreciate that. I mean, I love to chat and to talk and again, like I said, it's nice to kind of have these discussions with other people that are in the pet industry and that's where maybe that motivation can come in. You finish this episode, you're like, yeah, I do feel like I want to knock some of these things out or and I think overall, like you said, originally it's the community and not only the Royal Dog Chains community, but the dog community is a really strong space to
yeah,
do business in, but also meet friends and
yeah,
continue to grow and stay positive with what you're doing every day.
and you know what, dog people are a special kind of people, right? So it's really you're we're in a special group of a community in a very positive way.
Absolutely. We've just a couple minutes left here, so if you want to give a quick rundown on where everyone can find you, and maybe some of your products that you want to highlight again.
Yeah, for sure. RoyalDogChains.com. That's our website. If anybody's looking for dog chains or accessories, or even for their cats now, again, that's RoyalDogChains.com. Instagram, Royal Dog Chains. Facebook, Royal Dog Chains. TikTok, Royal Dog Chains. Basically, Royal Dog Chains.
That's right. Great. Well, Sam, it was an absolute pleasure, and I'll continue to follow along and wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much, Richard.
Bye.